Kia ora and welcome. Welcome to season 4 of The Leadership Lounge. I am Katie, I'm your host, and it is fascinatingly delightful to be back with you for season 4. Now, I hope you notice the sound a little bit echoey, maybe tinny, I can't quite decide. So, yes, I have moved. I'm on the other side of the world. I am now coming to you from Darlington in the United Kingdom. So it's been 2 weeks since we've moved. To be honest, I don't know how many weeks since I recorded the last podcast and the last episode of The Leadership Lounge. But oh boy. Did I completely underestimate that or what? I underestimated the intensity, the emotion, the actual work. I was less prepared than I thought I was. And then when we got here, that's even before we left New Zealand, and we got here, I have been completely thrown. So it's been interesting, right? So let's have a think about a couple of those things. So overwhelmed, underprepared, lots of change, lots of uncertainty, not really knowing what was going on, an awful lot of frustrations. Sound like anything familiar to any of you? So many resonant points to the feelings behind what this has all meant for me, to what I know and what I hear that it's like to work in the health system, whatever part of the world that you are in right now. In fact, the other day bumped into a lady, lovely conversation with her. She works in Canada, and similar kind of scenario situations that she was talking about. So I know it's world over. And when we get together, healthcare people can't help but then start connecting and resonating and talking about what works and what joy they find and all that stuff. So that was a great sideline conversation while buying gingerbread, by the way. Anywho, here we are, back again. So apologies for the sound. I hope it's going to be all right. I hope you can tolerate that until I either decide to buy a kind of a secondary microphone, or my microphone arrives, which might not be for 4 months. So let's think about that. But I did want to share a couple of the things that have been working, because seriously, it's been a serious ride, and it has been from joy to optimism to excitement to possibilities to potential to doom and gloom to wanting to, in all honesty, to wanting to just get back on a plane and come back to New Zealand. So it's been a ride, and like I say, all those feelings that are very pertinent and what are really relevant to people working in healthcare. So I wanted to share the things that have, in all honesty, been working and holding me together and keeping me from just bottoming out completely. Because these are the same things that are useful for you in whatever situation you are, or to pass on to those that you work with. So this is about sharing the love and passing it forward and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing, and I'm going to just whiz through them today, and then over the next few weeks, dive into each one of them a bit deeper, because they're massive. Each of them are massive topics themselves, and they're not going to be unsurprising to you because they are quite familiar territory to the stuff that I have been sharing and write about in the weekly email and all that kind of stuff. So you'll know the tone of it. But I guess this is just evidence and proof from a very personal lived experience that these things work. This isn't just something I write about. It's something I do, something I practice, and something that works. So that's why I want to keep sharing it. So the first one was reflecting versus ruminating, often getting to conversations about how much we beat ourselves up about things, and that downward spiral, rather than the space of reflecting and learning. We made so many mistakes. And I'm still thinking, they still come up. It's like, oh, why did we do that? Oh, yeah. And then we do this, and we've been making mistakes while we've been here. And I've been using some of the words from Amy Edmondson's latest book and calling them intelligent failures, because this is the first time we've tried to do something, so it's an intelligent failure. We didn't know. But also how are we going to learn from this, and using those languages. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, right? You've got to know this stuff well, and that's why I often like to talk about this before you've hit rock bottom. If I was at rock bottom and trying to learn this stuff, it just wouldn't have been working. You learn this stuff while you're feeling okay, And then when you hit those tough points, you've got them to lean into. So I knew I could turn to those phrases to turn it from ruminating and beating myself up about mistakes made or silly decisions, to reflecting about them and thinking about what I can learn, where is the opportunity in it, and where to go to from there. Which brings me to the next point, the second one, which I haven't found the right word for yet. I think my good friend and very wise soul, Melissa Crawford, do go check her out on LinkedIn. She's amazing. This idea of mindset, and whether it is hope or belief, but this idea of mindset and maintaining that growth mindset, but that belief that things are possible, belief that things are going to work out, belief it's going to be okay. You have to have those things. There's a great scene in Star Wars, sorry to divert into Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and he's on Dagobah, Luke Skywalker on Dagobah, his ship has sunk under the water and he's trying to use the force to lift it up out of the water, and he gets so far and then fails and it falls back under the water. Then Yoda sits there all wise and quiet, and then the music all changes and he just slowly lifts this massive ship up out of the water and onto the dry-ish ground. And Luke Skywalker turns around and says to Yoda, "I don't believe it." And Yoda replies, "And that is why you fail." So this idea of the belief in myself, confidence in myself, belief in the goodness of the world, belief, that hope idea. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how things are going to work out. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing for earning money. No idea at all. I'm trying lots of things. I'm exploring lots of avenues, but I don't know. But I know I'll work it out. So it's that, how do you nurture and sustain and maintain that belief? Because I have almost lost it on a couple of moments. Probably I have. Ice cream has helped in those moments, just as an FYI. Crying also helps at those moments. Phoning your mum, if you've got a mum to phone, just be grateful that you have, because I certainly was when I had to. So that idea of hanging on to that mindset, that belief, these are possible, these possibilities that are ahead of you. So that's number 2. The third thing is gratitude. Now, I was with someone not that long ago and we were talking about gratitude, and that it really is the answer to everything. So when I'm in that state of despair, or you're not sure where you're going to get that hope or belief from, leaning into gratitude makes that possible. So I don't know which way you think about it. Do you go gratitude and that creates the mindset, or does mindset, I don't know which way it works. I'll pay more attention. But this space of gratitude, what I'm grateful for, and it's because I have practiced this for so long, and I have lent into different ways of how I make gratitude part of my everyday. It's not a stretch. It's not too difficult. It is quite an easy thing to just go, you know what? But I have this, this, and this, and I have that, and that, and that just breaks that cycle of doom and gloom and despair. So gratitude. If you've not found your way of practicing or doing it or making it real for you, have a go. Have a go now while it's feeling okay. Make it part of your now. And then the last thing that has been really useful, and I know I've talked about this in the past as well, is this idea of writing a done list. So the jobs, the tasks, the stuff I have to get done, the ridiculous, oh my goodness, did you have any idea how long it took me to do changing my Apple account, or the palaver of applying for a new driving licence, or updating my old British driving licence to a new one, or just registering for the recycling. You know, everything is hard work. Everything is hard work. And so my usual state of functionality is out the window. And with that, it's really easy to beat yourself up. Really easy to beat yourself up. So the way you stop you doing from that, and this is, you know, if you've just started a new job, or if you've got a new team, or if you're part of a new team, or if you're going through a change or a restructure, any of that stuff, it takes your energy, it takes your thinking power, it's hard work to do that stuff and do a job. Hard work. You're like doing 3 jobs at the same time right now. So writing a done list, even if it is things like posted a letter, had an ice cream, found a coffee place, whatever those things are, write them down. every single little one thing, because then you can look at it and go, oh, yeah, it's been okay. I've got some things done. I've got out of bed. I made the bed. Fed the cat. It's that stuff. It's all of that stuff adds up. And then it is like, you know what, today I managed to change my Apple account and Apple now know I live back in the UK. Phew. Don't even get me going on the mobile phone. Hey ho. So there's my list of 4 things that I have been leaning into or using naturally or sometimes with a little bit of an effort and in different formats and in different structures to whatever works. I think what underpins all of them is that idea of acknowledging how I felt, how I'm feeling and where my energy is at. So what underpins all of these things is that space of self-awareness, about understanding what my energy is like, my mental state is like. The tool we've been using for that, a really good check-in tool, has been the the-healthy-mind-platter. So again, one of my favourite tools to be using, and I just kind of run through the 7 factors and like go, yeah, okay, where are we at with that? Where are we at with that? So the first few days, my sleep was all over the place. So no wonder I wasn't really functioning. So use those tools to just keep a check-in. So that's what underpins the practices. You've got to have this space of self-awareness. And then that leads into those 4 things that I'm particularly using at the moment that are really working at this time of quite interestingness. Is that a real word? I don't know. It is for now. That's what I'm going to say. So I'm going to sign off now for this episode, season 4, the first episode of season 4. I'll have to go and double check. I should have done that before I started, as to exactly which number episode this is. It's 60 something, I think. 60 something. Should be good. We're all good. So welcome back to the Leadership Lounge, to the slightly frenetic, but very, very real place where I'm coming from at the moment, and sharing the ideas that are working, because I know that they are relevant and they are practical and that they really do work. It's not something that's just read out of a book. This is lived experience stuff. Okay, so there's the 4 things, the underpinning of that space of self-awareness and understanding where you're at and noticing your energy. So I'm going to pop a few things into the show notes as links. So there'll be my gratitude workbook. There'll be some stuff on reflection. I've got an updated Spark and Support that I'm probably going to, I don't think it's completely finished yet, actually. I haven't looked at it since I left New Zealand. So yeah, I need to check on that. So I've updated and revamped that. So there's some things there that are going to be really useful if this is kind of something you're interested in, something you need to build your practice on because you don't know when you're going to need it. So that's the really cool thing here, that we practice these things so that when we need to deploy them and use them and lean into them, that we've got the practices there, we've got those habits there. Okay, that'll be it for now. I'm going to go and put the cats back in the catio and see if they enjoyed a bit of an outdoor time this evening. If you've been paying any attention to the cats, or to me for that matter, the cat stories is all over on Instagram. There's been a few pics up on LinkedIn. I'm not quite as, I think I'm probably only posting on there once a week at the moment, which is damn good enough for me right now. But Instagram, there's a few little stories of the videos and places that we've been going to, but also the building of a catio in the garden, because our cats are definitely missing the lovely garden in New Zealand. So we're trying to create a nice space for them. So check that out on Instagram. I shall pop all the links below in the show notes, and I'd love to have you say hello, follow along, join in with the weekly email at katiequinney.com/subscribe. It'd be great to have you part of this and to be sharing the stories, because it is in connection with each other that we find our strength and our joy and our hopes for the future that we all want to create, for not only for healthcare but for the world that we live in. All right, you all take care. Remember, you are doing way better than you think you are, and have a great week. Take care. See you next week.